And I'm Will Robbie for IFC News.
The presidential elections have been underway for well over a year, but we're finally in the home stretch, which all began with the national conventions.
The political conventions are the Super Bowl of American politics. With a huge viewership, the candidates get to make their case directly to the American public.
It's more like a cross between the Super Bowl and the most crowded place you've ever been, and it's just crazy.
It's the American Idol Finals. It's bigger than the American Idol Finals.
It's kind of like a political Disneyland.
This is my very first convention, and I am very excited to be here.
This is about as awesome as it gets.
You have the die-hard base of the party that comes to these events, and they live, eat, and breathe politics.
Conventions are a huge spectacle. Abraham Lincoln, what are you doing here? I thought you were dead.
This is how everyone should dress at the convention.
There's just a lot of stuff going on. I mean, it's really impressive just to watch, you know, that they could pull all that stuff together.
It's sort of a circus, and it's just sort of nonsense. We all have to walk around, 5 miles to get into the Secret Service barricades, as we should, because we need security so that we can come in and see Barack Obama get the nomination. Hey, what do you know? He's getting the nomination. That's a big surprise.
What's the story here?
Well, like, what's the story at a wedding, right? It's all scripted. And yet, once in a while fun breaks out. Once in a while people start dancing. Once in a while people get laid. And once in a while it works.
Say once in a while people get laid.
Well, I think it's probably the best convention I've ever been to.
Really?
Yeah, including my own.
The Democrats went first, gathering in Denver, Colorado.
I'm very excited about it. I think we're going to plow new ground in America. It needed to be plowed. Come up with a strong candidate, Barack Obama, and Joe Biden, an old buddy of mine. I think it's going to be good.
The convention kicked off with excitement surrounding new VP pick, Joe Biden.
Since I've never been called a man of few words, let me say it as simply as I can. Yes, I accept your nomination to run and serve with Barack Obama, the next president of the United States of America.
He has the experience. He worked in the Senate at a time when it worked sort of normally. So I, on the whole, think it's a pretty decent choice.
You were in the top 3 VP selection. Were you just a little disappointed when you heard the news?
Well, I wouldn't be human if I didn't, think that was a great opportunity to serve. But look, I told Barack when we were talking about it, I will help you regardless.
Joe Biden, con is that he's older and he's been in Washington for half his life. The pro is that he's a phenomenal campaigner.
But talk soon turned to uncertainty over party unity. Well, the press has made a lot out of the Clinton-Obama divide and how these people, there's a schism here it's irreparable, and the Clinton people, have voodoo dolls of Obama, and they're going to vote for McCain and all this crazy stuff. Is that an over-exaggeration, or is it accurate?
I think, as with most of these things, there's a kernel of truth to these kind of things, and then they're exaggerated because it makes a better story.
I wish it was going on. I wish they were at each other's throats, because that'd be a great media story. But no, I mean, they're both professionals. I think, they're working it out.
I mean, the truth is that the primary contest was such an amazing story for us that I think it's very hard for journalists to sort of give it up.
The mainstream media has made a very big deal about the Clinton-Obama fracas. Can you make the counter-argument to me that this has actually helped the party?
Oh, that's what I always believe. First of all, you guys have heated this up bigger than it is. So Hillary.
Mainstream media?
No, what I'm saying, media.
Yes.
I'm using. I don't care, new, older,
Now you're losing your voice. Have you been asked way too many times if there are problems unifying the two camps?
I've been asked, since, but it's okay. There's not other news, so they gotta invent a lot of stuff. I have said after Hillary speaks tonight, and then Bill Clinton does tomorrow night, they do the roll call. At that point, we're all together, and then Barack knocks it out of the park on Thursday night. We're going to be unified.
Rumors of bad blood extended to Bill Clinton. Can you explain why his feelings would be hurt, or is it a real slight? Is it a misperceived slight?
Well, he does feel like they haven't called him enough. I think the Obama people felt like Clinton didn't either fought a little bit dirty during the campaign, or even afterwards they said, is Barack Obama ready to be president? And you know what President Clinton said back? He said, Is anybody really ready, Sarah, to be president? I don't think so. I mean, maybe I was, maybe Hillary. But I think also they were looking forward to moving back into the House.
You know, maybe it's hyped up more at the Democratic convention just because of all the Hillary, Bill drama. Is there tension? Is there not tension?
But the Clintons pulled it off with unambiguous declarations of support.
Barack Obama is my candidate, and he must be our president.
If, like me, you believe America must always be a place called hope, then join Hillary and Chelsea and me in making Barack Obama the next president of the United States. Thank you, and God bless you.
And if there was any doubt, in dramatic fashion, Hillary Clinton moved for an end to the roll call to make official Obama's nomination.
We cast 6 votes. Senator Hillary Clinton, and 82 votes for the next president of the United States, Barack Obama.
I move that the convention suspend the procedural rules and suspend the further conduct of the roll call vote. All votes cast by the delegates will be counted, and that I move Senator Barack Obama of Illinois be selected by this convention by acclamation as the nominee of the Democratic Party for president.
It was absolutely the picture of unity, and what an historic moment. The first female candidate for President of the United States who had a real chance, tossing to the first woman Speaker of the House, who then nominated the first African-American candidate for president. I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, whatever, that's a big moment.
All in favor, please say aye.
How did you feel about what Hillary Clinton did during the roll call?
It was quite statesmanlike. That was the right thing to do.
With unity achieved, Democrats moved on to the main event, with the biggest live audience in convention history.
The joke running around is that we're at Mile High Stadium and the expectations are mile high.
After yesterday's speech by Bill Clinton, it was like, okay, let's stop with the nonsense, let's stop with the argument, let's just get our act together and go. And it seems like that's the way this whole place feels. So we've set it all up for Barack Obama, and it's almost apt right after the Olympics. It's like a perfect setup. So they've set it up, the net's right there, and all Barack has to do is jump and spike the ball.
Obama's tasks were many. He had to live up to his reputation to inspire, be more specific on policy, and, most importantly, he had to do something Democrats have historically had difficulty with. Democrats don't really like to attack. They're really nice. They're Boy Scouts.
I know, and that's what I don't like about my party. You know, I'm like Eleanor Roosevelt Longworth, who was a Republican. She used to say, if you don't have something nice to say about somebody, come sit by me.
You get points in heaven, you know, for being nice about your opponent at conventions, but you don't get votes in November. I think Democrats do have to kind of get a little madder, a little meaner, a little tougher.
With the memory of John Kerry being swift-boated, Democrats were eager to stay on the offensive.
Are you in a unique position to impart the wisdom you learned in your race? Impart what you learned to Barack Obama. Are you in that unique position?
Well, I don't think he needs. I think he's got a great thing going right now, and I think Barack Obama tonight is going to lay out a very strong agenda for the country. I expect him to be very clear about his plans, and I think the reception is going to be remarkable.
Obama met expectations, particularly in confronting John McCain.
John McCain likes to say that he'll follow bin Laden to the gates of hell, but he won't even follow him to the cave where he lives. Senator McCain likes to talk about judgment, but really, what does it say about your judgment when you think George Bush has been right more than 90% of the time? I don't know about you, but I'm not ready to take a 10% chance on change. We are the party of Roosevelt. We are the party of Kennedy. So don't tell me that Democrats won't defend this country. Don't tell me that Democrats won't keep us safe. The Bush-McCain foreign policy has squandered the legacy of the generations of Americans. Thank you. God bless you. And God bless the United States of America.
what the entire convention did, collectively, I think, made a better case against McCain than the 2004 convention did against Bush.
Every campaign learns from the last campaign, and I think Barack Obama very aware of that. He knew that, I think he was comfortable with the positives that he had going in, but he wanted to make clear to people that yes, there is a real difference between John McCain and I, and here are the ways in which we are different.
They're equally attacking McCain and his positions, as well as showing what's good about the party. Are you observing that?
When there's been adversity, they have pushed back, but they're up against now the toughest opponent in world political history, the Karl Rove attack machine, which is now attached to John McCain.
The Democrats have raised the bar, taken the fight to John McCain. Let's now see what the RNC is all about. Republicans were faced with a difficult task here in Minnesota, having to steal the spotlight back from Barack Obama.
With Hurricane Gustav putting a damper on the beginning of the week, media scrutiny surrounding Sarah Palin, and throngs of protesters clogging the streets, it's been an interesting week. Concern over the hurricane led to a cancellation of much of the first day's events, including appearances by President Bush and Vice President Cheney. Is it helpful, actually, to McCain to not have Bush and Cheney here?
Yes, I think it is helpful. John McCain has to make this election about Barack Obama and what John McCain would call Barack Obama's inexperience and inability to lead. Because if John McCain allows this campaign to be about George Bush and about being George Bush's third term, then he's probably going to lose.
Rather than 4 days to sell your product, which is John McCain and Sarah Palin, you have 3 days.
But Republicans held their heads high and quickly got back on message.
It was the right tone, and now we'll get back on track, and I think it'll be an excellent convention.
Give me a sense of what's been going on this week inside the convention hall and what the Republicans need to do to win this election against Barack Obama.
Well, what's been going on is an introduction and a relationship that's building with Sarah Palin. I mean, it's all Sarah Palin.
McCain's choice of the Alaskan governor as his VP surprised many.
Nobody knew who the hell she was, for one thing. She was, at sewer bond referendum meetings a year and a half ago in Wasilla.
No one really thought that this was going to happen, and no one knew. So excited? Uh-huh. Yeah, we're excited.
The press immediately raised concerns over the decision.
This was John McCain's first decision, and it has raised more questions than answers. One reason campaigns leak names in advance is so the press can do the vetting for them. The McCain campaign didn't leak Sarah Palin, so it just sort of burst forth, and now you're getting an awful lot of press vetting.
I think that a great many people's first reaction to Sarah Palin is, huh? I mean, this woman came out of nowhere. She has absolutely zero foreign policy and national security experience, and he is a 72-year-old candidate with a history of cancer.
There are some serious questions raised, and the whole question of her daughter, being 17 years old and pregnant and unmarried is not unknown in American life these days, but it raises all sorts of questions as to why the campaign didn't reveal this fact. Yes, it's personal, but they knew it was going to come out.
Party leaders rushed to her defense, slamming the media.
The reporting of the past few days have proven tackier than a costume change at a Madonna concert.
I can't believe how they've tried to smear even Governor Palin. My gosh, what's the matter with these people?
The things that are being said would not be said about a male candidate.
And what the media is doing to Sarah Palin is uniting this party even more, because we believe it's outrageous.
Sarah Palin won over the party faithful with a rousing acceptance speech.
I will be honored to accept your nomination for Vice President of the United States.
And I pledge to you that if we're elected, you will have a friend and advocate in the White House.
I love those hockey moms. You know, they say the difference between a hockey mom and a pit bull? Lipstick.
What do you think of Sarah Palin?
Oh, she's great, great, great.
She's transparent. and I think you really do get what you see, and I think it came out just fantastic. Palin's our hockey mom, and we're hockey time for hockey mom.
You've got women jumping up and down in the aisles and committed to the ticket the way they weren't just by John McCain himself.
You know, a gun in one hand and a baby in the other, and the State House behind her. I mean, yes, she's quite a person.
There's a sort of a love fest growing with Palin, so people are very excited.
Effectively motivating their base, the GOP next had to answer the Democrats' attacks. What's the main objective of the Republicans at the RNC?
To take down Obama. I mean, that's their strategy all the way through. It's not just their convention.
He's got to make Barack Obama unelectable, unacceptable, and attack his character and his resume as wholly inadequate, opportunistic.
It's serious stuff, right?
Very serious stuff.
To deal with these challenges, the Democrats present a history-making nominee for president. History-making in that he's the most liberal, most inexperienced nominee to ever run for president.
He is the least experienced candidate for president of the United States in at least the last 100 years. Barack Obama has never led anything, nothing, nada.
I guess a small-town mayor is sort of like a community organizer, except that you have actual responsibilities.
Is it perhaps, though, a danger to be beating the partisan drum this hard when this election may be determined by independents and moderates?
It's a very good question. Traditionally, though, you do have to try to strip the bark off the other guy, and John Kerry failed to do that with his convention in 2004, and a lot of people thought it was one of the reasons that they lost. Democrats lost. Republicans are especially practiced at playing very rough at their conventions, and this one is no exception.
With the dirty work out of the way, it was left to McCain to drive home his campaign theme.
He would much rather present himself as a reformer, and a maverick and all that. Right. So I think that, you know, you'll likely see that be a pretty dominant theme coming up.
I'm very proud to have introduced our next vice president to the country, but I can't wait until I introduce her to Washington. And when we tell you we're going to change Washington and stop leaving our country's problems for some unluckier generation to fix, you can count on it. We're Americans. We never give up. We never quit. We never hide from history. We make history.
Did you watch the Democratic convention at all?
Yes, I did. There's no comparison at all.
I think it's safe to say the Republicans have closed the enthusiasm gap.
Ah, yes, we are.
Good music. The Republicans concluded their convention, setting the tone for the final weeks of the election.
It's actually only just beginning. I mean, this whole election cycle keeps pushing, you know, the reboot button, and it starts up all over again.
Ron Brownstein was saying whoever comes out of both conventions ahead in the polls has got the best shot. Do you think that's true in this case with the convention so close together?
I think historically that is what has happened. I don't buy it this time. I think the three presidential debates are going to be... I'm a big believer that many of the independent voters watch those three debates, and then they make up their mind after that.
With the outcome as unpredictable as ever, it's going to be a sprint to the finish.
It is a remarkably competitive race. I think a lot more competitive than most people thought it would have been if you'd asked me that question 6 or 8 months ago.
The question at the end of the day is whose team is going to be more organized, more enthusiastic, more technologically savvy, and more passionate on November 4th.
They're just getting warmed up for the campaign. Don't worry about it. They'll savage each other.
It is like you're off to the races. You're going to have 4 debates. We had back-to-back conventions, and then you have the final sprint over the last 3 weeks of October.
Political junkies have not seen a political season that has been as exciting to them as this one.
So there you have it. 2 very different conventions, but equaled in enthusiasm. Stay tuned to IFC for more election news. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to go to ifc.com for more videos and our blog.
What was your biggest criticism of this evening?
The two little girls. I hate little girls. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Do you think it's been self-congratulatory?
Well, that would be the first convention that was.
If you had your own political party, what would it be called, and what would your mascot be?
In the spirit of like the Bull Moose Party, I think it would be the Radioactive Moose Party, and we would be in favor of all kinds of supernatural genetic mutations that make for an advanced breed of humanity. And we would promote that, and we would want to promote that in animals, plants, water, resources, and of course in human genes as well. I've stumped you, haven't I?
No.
You've run out of things to say.
No,
this is the end right here, Sir Snow's knowledge.
No.
Who would ever have thought I'd be standing in the captain's corner at the Republican National Convention in Minneapolis, St. Paul?
What do they serve at the captain's corner?
Rum. And yesterday they were pouring the rum in here, let me tell you. I'm gonna confess something. Around our house, the captain's private reserve. And I'm not kidding.
Pitbull and lipstick, I mean, that's a weird image.
That seems like PETA's worst nightmare.
What's your favorite part of running a campaign?
Talking to you. Talking to you.